All right, so there's a LinkedIn influencer with 10,000 followers, and this is what he says. Met a candidate with a 5-year employment gap. Let me skip the middle for a second. He just says, I don't give chances to parasites. Why would he say something like that, right? That's assuming a lot. So let's read the context that he's posted. I asked him why he had a 5-year job gap. He said he didn't find a job that offered him either enough salary or the designation he expected, so he was holding out. I asked him how he was surviving. He said he was living on his wife's income and did absolutely nothing else. Nothing. No part-time gigs, no small jobs, no nothing. I obviously didn't hire him, no matter how much the Good Samaritan recruiters online tell me to do otherwise. I don't give chances to parasites, neither should you. Yes? ? So number one, this guy is just assuming that he's a parasite because he hasn't had a job in 5 years. This man could have been a caretaker for his wife. This man could have been a caretaker for his elderly parents. This man could have been a caretaker for his children. To be honest, it doesn't really matter why he hasn't had a job in 5 years. There are plenty of real-life reasons that people choose to take care of rather than going to get a job. And now this is being punished. But not only punished, this guy's being punished publicly. Imagine if the guy that interviewed with this idiot went and read this post. I'm a parasite? So this guy says he's living on his wife's income. What's wrong with that? If the wife is okay with that and he's taking care of the home and doing his own thing and looking for a job that he thinks fits him and pays him well, there's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to work a crappy job just to maintain a resume. But it's 2021, and if you have a job gap, something is wrong with you. You're obviously a parasite, and you obviously can't find a job because something is wrong with you. Why is he asking these questions? Like, why is he asking these questions? These questions are very, very personal. This guy didn't have to be honest. And this is an example of honesty not being rewarded at all about your job gap, right? So this is why people lie on their resumes. This is why people fluff their resumes up, because you're looked at like you have a problem. And here's another problem with job gaps. The more you have a job gap, the harder it is to get a job. It's just a downward spiral. Like, what if you're living with your parents looking for a good job and you apply to a few places and there's some lowball offers in there and you know it's lowball, and so you're like, nah. Maybe you're taking care of things around the house. You know, real life comes before a job, Arun. Taking care of your friends, family, whatever it is, real life comes before a job. I'm sorry you don't see it that way, but he's not a parasite because he hasn't had a job in 5 years. What if this guy tried to become an entrepreneur over the last few years and it just didn't work out? What if this guy was learning a new skill to move into a new industry and that didn't work out? Like, there's a lot of things that can happen in 5 years. It's just so hypocritical of him because on Friday, he posted this. Who am I to judge another when I myself walk imperfectly, with 26 thumbs up and all these other people clapping? People like you, Arun, are the problem with job gap stigma. People like you, people that just assume shit. You know how many times people assume stuff about me because I was honest about the job gap, right? The company ran out of budget, so I've been looking for a new job, but I haven't been able to find anyone because a lot of budgets are on hold right now because the election just happened and people are reconsidering things, and it's just been a rough time, and they're like, sorry, that's just not gonna work. So then what do? Right? You're being honest. That's not being rewarded. People think that you have a problem or that you're a parasite or that you're lazy simply because you don't have an official job. Now, this could be true, right? There are certainly some kind of scumbags out there that just live off of other people their entire life until eventually they get booted out to find a new job. But it doesn't sound like that's what's happening here. It doesn't sound like that at all. It just, I haven't found a job. I've just been living with my wife, probably managing the family and the household. What is wrong with you, Arun? Why are you so small-minded to assume that people with job gaps are fucking parasites? You're a parasite, Arun. You don't deserve this audience. 10,000 people listen to you, and you call someone with a job gap a parasite? This is a very personal issue for me because I've struggled with it. I did it the honest way, right? And that didn't work. The same shit happened like this guy, right? They assume something's wrong with you because you can't find a job. So then you start trying to fill it in with things that you think are acceptable. Oh, I've been working on a freelance project. Oh, I was helping my friend's business. Oh, I've been learning my skills, right? Those don't count either. That's not an actual official job. That's a job gap, right? So then what do? You start lying. You start saying, yeah, no, I'm still employed. I'm just looking for a new job. And you change the date and you bump the date forward so that you're still currently employed. Yeah, that's lying. Yeah, it's wrong. But when you were honest, you got screwed anyways. This guy was honest. And he was punished for it. But not only punished for it publicly to 10,000 people by being called a parasite. Unacceptable, Arun. You don't get to call people parasites that don't have a job or just chose not to work a job. Because choosing not to work a job sounds like you have a pretty comfortable life, and there's nothing wrong with that. I actually sent this post to HR lady, and she sent me some notes she wanted me to read you guys. So the thing is, you technically have to hire based on the best candidate. That's why there's protections in place for candidates in the interview process to prevent discrimination. He chose not to hire a person for his own feelings and didn't like him, instead of picking the best candidate for a job. So like, I mean, I guess this dude's in the UAE or whatever, and I don't know if the guy that interviewed with this moron could sue him, but if you can, you probably should. And the HR lady continues and says, the messed up part is the recruiter can pick any other reason, like he didn't think he was a fit for the job, or he didn't have enough experience, instead of the actual fact that he personally thinks that the dude that came into the interview is a parasite. That's his reasoning for not hiring. And that, at least in the US, is illegal, right? Right, HR? Yeah, you can't say that. You can't say I didn't hire you because you're a parasite. That's illegal. Also, this is a great example of why you should never answer personal questions in the interview. So you should stretch the truth and give a nice reason why you had a gap. So HR lady's downstairs. She said, so tell them you were taking care of your family or that you were working on your skills. And then I said, well, like, they still sometimes don't count that. And HR lady said, yeah, it's still going to be really, really difficult. But why would, like, don't answer it personally like that. And this guy shouldn't be diving deep into that. If he is going to, then he should find context, not just immediately assume that this guy's a parasite for having a job gap. So all you people with job gaps out there, you know, I mean, the honest truth is that you can't be honest. If you don't work, you're a lazy parasite. Well, there are a lot of people that want to work, Arun, that can't because of assholes like you. You know, when I had a job gap, dude, all I wanted was to work. Just somebody, let me work. My job gap is irrelevant. I have the skills to do the task and this job that you're asking. But because of something that was out of my control, and even if it was in my control, you think I'm a parasite. Maybe it's just cultural differences, but he's still an idiot. Cultural differences are not an excuse for toxic behavior. Let's get that clear. There's a comment here that says, there is another way to look at it unless you are of the view that if the lady of the house is the primary earning member, then the man is a parasite. Many of our generation of men are married to women who are equally or more qualified and more successful. Job gaps are not indicative that the candidate is a parasite or less of a worker or lazy or any of that. You know what's crazy to me is that when people just take a year off to go explore life and live it, and then they come back and try to get a job, and they tell that to an employer, and they're looked at as if they're lazy or they're crazy or that like, wait, you would give up working? You would give up working to go live life? And you're just looked at like you're an insane person. I know there are a lot of people that probably watch this channel that have had job gaps, and that maybe some of you were honest and they were like, it's okay, we understand. Come on in, we'll hire you based on your skills and ability. And then there are others who have experienced similar things like me, where people say, no, this just, or they ghost you, right? They ghost you once you reveal that you have a job gap, or when you're honest, they don't accept your answer. They just assume over and over that something is wrong with you if you don't have a job, which isn't the case, because there are plenty of people that want to work, that have job gaps, that can't get a job, again, because of assholes like you, Arun. And I just think it's unacceptable for you to come on here to a platform where you have 10,000 followers to say he's a parasite. Right? With no other context. Arun, I hope you never find someone that wants to work under you, because they deserve better. They deserve way better than you. Get off your high horse, take your ego, put it somewhere else, maybe up your ass. That's probably where you got it from. And then just delete your LinkedIn. That's what needs to happen. You don't deserve to have a voice. You just don't deserve to have a voice on a platform like this if you're just going to insult people that want to work that can't. This is a public post, by the way. This is not a private post. This is not doxing. This is a public post that he wanted all of his followers to see, noted by the question mark here to his audience. Neither should you. Yes? No. No. Don't listen to this guy. Unfollow this guy. Ignore this information. Okay? This is just enraging garbage. How have you not been banned from this platform? How am I banned from this platform, but you still get to stay on here and say dumb shit like this? I'm doing more for the working class than you ever will. And then when you post some shit like this, it just makes it seem like you're just insane. Who am I to judge another when I myself walk imperfectly? Is this a way of saying sorry? Because I don't think it is, because you didn't really get any backlash on this post other than people agreeing with you. My question to you, what would you have done if the person in the question was a lady? I yet wouldn't hire her because that would make her a female parasite. This guy could have lied to you. This guy could have lied to you and given you the best answer ever and got the job. But he chose to be honest, and so instead, you come on LinkedIn and publicly fucking insult him without any information, just because he chose not to work a job that didn't fit him. So what if it's 5 years? Who cares? If he's living a better life outside of a job that fits him, more power to him. I think more people wish they could do that. Job stigmas are the dumbest thing in the world. They don't say anything about a candidate because you don't know their life. You don't know their history. You don't know their context. And you need to before you just assume something's wrong with them. I don't know how this came to be. I don't know why job stigmas are so big, but it needs to end. And it needs to end right now. And it needs to start by people like this being banned off LinkedIn. Because you don't get to call people parasites. Not without any context, not without any proof. You didn't even hire the guy based on his skills. You just hired a guy based on your personal feelings at the time. And then you come on LinkedIn and reveal that. Like, at least if you're gonna be so ignorant to make a decision about your personal feelings, at least keep that shit to yourself and don't go roast the guy publicly. Because now that's what I'm doing to you. And you deserve it. Anyways, I'll link this post if you don't believe it. Because when I read it, it was absolutely just enraging to me because I've struggled with job gaps before. And so it's a very personal issue to me. And you can probably hear that in my voice. Normal corporate cringe stuff. Like, yeah, it's upsetting, but this shit right here has happened to me. And I know people have assumed that I'm a parasite too. When I'm over here paying for my parents' rent and my rent while I don't even have a job, you know? And when you try to explain that to someone, like, they just think that you're a parasite. People like you, Arun, people like you do not make the world a better place. And all of you people out there with job gaps right now that are searching for jobs, you're not less of a person because you have a job gap. You're not less of a person because you have obligations outside of work. Life always comes before work. There's always going to be more work to do the next day. You're never going to be on your deathbed wishing you worked more, especially not for this guy. Especially not for this guy. All of you guys out there with job gaps, hunting for jobs, being punished for it, I'm really sorry, and I wish you the best of luck. And my advice is to stop being honest with these people because they don't appreciate your honesty, right? Just do what you have to get the job. This is why people lie on their resumes. I hope this video explodes. I hope this video gets like 1 million views. I really do, because, I don't know, just share the video. Just share the video with everyone you know, because this is just enraging. Anyways, that's all I got for you. If you want to see me roast corporate and people that post dumb corporate stuff, go ahead and click the subscribe button, like button. I'll tear apart corporate all day because I know you can't, because then obviously it'll be even harder for you to get a job or stay employed. You know, you probably get fired if you do something like this. So I'll do it. Link me post you got like this. I'm happy to take care of it, happy to address it, to just try to tell people what the reality of the working world is really like these days. Some people will learn it, some people will ignore it, some people will hate me for it, and that's fine. But it doesn't change the reality of the world. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed it. See you in the next one.